Hey guys, welcome to the channel, welcome to another video. Today we're talking about Arsenal Football Club and their title challenge. Are Arsenal potentially 19 games away from lifting the Premier League trophy for the first time in 20 years? They are currently sitting top of the table, sitting pretty at the top of the pile, and yet we are only just halfway through the season, or in certain teams' case, just over halfway through the season. Obviously there's a long way to go, there's a lot of football still to be played, but Arsenal are looking very, very good and very, very strong right now as they look to mount together this title challenge that at the beginning of the season I don't think anybody predicted, unless of course you're a very much hardcore Arsenal fan or someone very deluded, or maybe someone that just put that bet on very drunk. I don't know. But either way, it is looking very good for Arsenal in what is turning out to be a season that nobody really predicted. We're going to be talking all about Arsenal's title challenge, Arsenal itself, Mikel Arteta, everything that goes along with Arsenal, as well as what certain pundits and certain fans are saying about Arsenal as well this season. But before we get into all of that, I would like to remind you all to please like the video and also subscribe if you're new. Both things always and forever be greatly appreciated. But for now, let's get into talking about this video. Let's get into talking about Arsenal, because I have to say I admire Arsenal. I've always admired Arsenal for many years. I'm not just saying that because they're doing well right now, but as a lot of you know, I am a Liverpool fan, and I have admired Arsenal for many, many years. They were a team I grew up watching, and they played some very nice and attractive football. Brought in many great players that I've liked and admired, the likes of Dennis Bergkamp, Robert Pires, Patrick Vieira, and of course Thierry Henry, someone I loved and admired from afar, obviously being a Liverpool fan. And there is a bit of jealousy in what Arsenal are doing right now, because obviously I've watched Liverpool play some great football over the past few years in particular, and obviously challenge for many trophies, and right now they're not doing so good. And Arsenal obviously are, and Arsenal are playing the kind of football that I wish Liverpool would play, and they're challenging for the Premier League title in the way that I wish Liverpool would. And obviously it's the one season that Liverpool are not in the title race, and City seem to be faltering left, right and centre a little bit at times. So it is kind of frustrating and annoying in certain aspects that Liverpool are not in the kind of position Arsenal are, but at the same time we have our own problems. This isn't about Liverpool, this is about Arsenal, and we have to accept it. And from afar I can somewhat admire it a little bit, even though obviously it is very much frustrating for me. And for me personally, you know, I'll say I backed Mikel Arteta for the most part. I say that I put out a few videos stating that I think with the right time and the right backing, he can get something out of this squad, because we have seen glimpses of that over the years. My thing that I fall down on is that I didn't predict that they would put together a title challenge. I assumed top four and maybe a domestic cup of some description, or a Europa League might be the kind of ceiling in which Mikel Arteta gets to in that respect. But of course, I'm sort of being proven wrong right now. He is putting together, he is helping Arsenal put together this title challenge. He is helping Arsenal possibly claim their first Premier League title in 20 years. And it's looking very good right now, because Arsenal's consistency and their confidence just seems to be growing with each and every passing game. Their latest result came against Manchester United, and for the most part they suffocated United. United were holding on for the most part, and of course took their chances very well, and they did look dangerous on the counter-attack in what was a very highly entertaining game. But Arsenal just can continue to press, continue to press, continue to press, and suffocate United. And like I say, they're playing some amazing football right now. Full credit to Mikel Arteta for getting this team to be a well-oiled machine, because everything is just falling right now. Their decision making is right. Their passing is great. It's incisive. It's intricate. It's entertaining and exciting to watch. You know, the amount of goals they're scoring is great. They've got like the second best goal scoring record in the Premier League this season, only behind Manchester City. But with Erling Haaland, it's like, what do you expect? They're defensively, they're solid enough. They've got, I believe, either the second or third best defensive record in the Premier League. Although, they do open themselves up a little bit in certain games, and teams do manage to get chances a little bit. They're still solid enough, and obviously teams need to take those chances, and sometimes they don't. Their movement is great, their understanding is great, their hunger and desire and determination is at the highest level that I've seen it in a long, long time at the Emirates and with Arsenal. It's just looking very good right now, and all of those kind of good qualities and good assets are kind of what make Premier League champions. When you think about the good champions of recent years, or just in any kind of year in the Premier League, they had all of those. They had all of those good assets that make you Premier League champions. And right now, Arsenal are looking like Premier League champions. It's incredible to watch, and it's going to be interesting to watch going forward, obviously, as this season continues to unravel, whether or not that can be maintained, whether or not that can be continued. But it is looking very good, and I think full credit goes to Mikel Arteta and his squad for that, because some of those players were being the manager obviously was being heavily beaten with a stick. Like, he's managed to overcome so much adversity and so much uncertainty and so much kind of abuse and hatred and whatever it was, like, thrown at him by not just Arsenal fans themselves, but by rival fans and by various football talking platforms. So full credit to Arteta for overcoming all of that. Full credit to some of them players as well. He's got some of them players playing out of their skin right now. You've got Granit Xhaka, one of the best midfielders, being noted as one of the best midfielders in the Premier League. His consistency this season has been incredible to watch. Slight change of role, a bit more attacking, but that's what was needed apparently. Apparently he just needed a bit more freedom to go forward, and apparently that is what's working for him right now. You've got Thomas Partey alongside him. Great double pivot. He's playing like the Thomas Partey that we knew that could be there when obviously he signed from Atletico Madrid. You've got Ben White as a makeshift right back. He brought in as a centre back. Like, he's playing very well as a makeshift right back. Aaron Ramsdale, I feel like I should apologise. I didn't understand the signing of Aaron Ramsdale when it happened, especially for the money that was being talked about. But he's turning out to be one of the best goalkeepers in the division. And of course, Eddie Nketiah. Someone who I've been critical of in the past. I didn't think he was good enough for Arsenal. I didn't understand why Arsenal kept him and everything. But right now, he's on fire. Eddie Nketiah is on fire. You've also got the improvements of the likes of Gabriel Martinelli and the consistent improvement of Bukayo Saka, who looks like he's getting better and better with each and every passing game. He's adding more output to his game, more goals, more assists and all that. It's going very well. And then you add the little gems in there. You add Zinchenko, Mr. Consistent himself. I don't think I have ever really seen Zinchenko have a bad game, whether it was in an Arsenal or Manchester City shirt. But little gems in there that are just helping this team just keep moving, keep going along, and you've suddenly got plenty of leaders on that pitch. Plenty of leaders. And this young squad is building something fierce. Whether that can be maintained over the next few seasons or not obviously remains to be seen. We'll obviously have to see how Arsenal conduct themselves with their youth development and obviously with their transfer window and everything. But for the here and now, let's not overlook the here and now. The here and now is exceptional and just proves that you back your manager in the right way, you give your manager time to get his point across, get his style across, get his philosophy across to them players, give him what he wants, and you can achieve great things. And let's face it, it's not over yet. There is only a 5-point gap between them and Manchester City, and obviously City can claw that back. We have seen them do that in the past, and obviously with Erling Haaland, I guess you'd say anything is possible as far as City are concerned, but Arsenal are looking extremely, extremely strong right now. that shouldn't be overlooked and that shouldn't be completely disregarded. When you look at obviously Arsenal as a whole and you look at what they've had to face these recent years, you look at the likes of TalkSport in particular, I know there's probably other platforms, but TalkSport in particular that have beaten Arsenal with a stick for their downfall. And let's face it, I think a lot of us, including myself at times, have enjoyed Arsenal's downfall. I know I said I admired them earlier, but obviously being a Liverpool fan, that takes priority. But at the same time, everyone's done it. Everyone's had their bit of banter, but some have obviously taken that banter a bit too far and tried to use it at every opportunity. TalkSport have used Arsenal like a whipping boy in their kind of banter cycle and taking the mick out of Arsenal, winding up Arsenal fans, so on and so forth, to the point where obviously now they can't. Arsenal are playing extremely well. They're playing very well. They're top of the table. They can't really pull out anything on Arsenal, banterous-wise, because they're doing so well. They've tried. They tried, obviously, with that thing the other week about Mikel Arteta and Arsenal being ill-disciplined and all that, saying that, obviously, very wrong of them to be ill-disciplined towards the referee, and that's why they got fined by the FA and all that for that game the other week. But, again, every team does that. Every team in every game does something like that to an extent, and every manager, every manager as a whole really has done that. You look at the likes of Sir Alex Ferguson and Arsene Wenger, for example. They definitely argue with referees all the time. Jose Mourinho was notorious for arguing with referees whenever things didn't go his way. Pep Guardiola and Jurgen Klopp are not are the same. They're not too dissimilar from that. But they've tried. They've definitely tried to try and pull things like that and try and derail Arsenal's season to a point and try and water it down, shall we say. But it doesn't seem to be working. It doesn't seem to be happening. And fair play for that. Now, in terms of whether this title challenge can continue, in my opinion, it certainly can. Arsenal are playing some very exciting and entertaining football right now. They are looking strong. They're looking solid. They are scoring plenty of goals. They're not conceding a lot to a point. And like I say, they seem to have this hunger and desire and determination that I've not seen from this Arsenal side in years, and I've constantly seen it throughout Liverpool's good reign or good spell as of the past few years under Jurgen Klopp. It's been something that Liverpool have prided themselves over, and now I'm seeing it in this Arsenal squad, and I'm seeing that they are believing with each and every passing game that they can maintain this title challenge and eventually go on and win it. Like I say, sitting top of the table, 50 points from their opening 19 games, 16 wins, 2 draws, 1 loss. It's an extremely great record. I think only 2 more teams at this stage of the season have got a better record than them in previous years, but it's still exceptional. From a side that wasn't expected to be this far, to get this far in the table, to get this far in a title challenge, whatever it may be, it's exceptional. And again, Arsenal continue to defy pundits. They continue to defy fans. People were saying, what happens if this player gets injured, or this player gets injured? What happens when they face this team, or that team? What happens when this happens? What happens when that happens? Arsenal have answered every single question and every single problem that's been thrown at them this season. People were questioning whether they'd handle the absence of Gabriel Jesus. They got Eddie Nketiah. He's on fire right now, like I say. There are question marks, obviously, of whether or not it can be maintained if injuries mount up or anything. That's going to be interesting to find out, but then again, you can say that about any team. You can say that about Manchester City. Will City's title challenge be the same without Haaland? Without Mahrez? Without De Bruyne? Just saying, every question and every problem that's been thrown at Arsenal has been dealt with by the Gunners so far, and done so extremely well. pundits will continue to throw these problems at Arsenal until obviously it's mathematically impossible for anyone to catch them. Obviously, Arsenal have yet to play Manchester City twice this season. And when obviously that game does happen, that will be a massive indication of how far this Arsenal team has come and whether or not they could actually go on, keep their nerve and maintain their stance at the top of the table going forward. That could be interesting. City could claw back that 5-point deficit. We'll have to wait and see on that, of course. But with the way that they're playing right now, they are easily and obviously the best team in the division. I reckon Arsenal could do it. And plus, people are not putting into account the fact that I know history plays a little bit of a part in football. I know heritage and history plays a bit of a part. And I know that people are basically basing, and when I say that, people are basically basing Manchester City's title challenge off the fact that, well, in the past, they've gone on 10 to 15 games of winning constantly and consistently. And yes, of course that can happen. And with Erling Haaland on fire, of course, that can happen. City can definitely do that. Arsenal obviously need to prove themselves in that aspect, and I get that. But City have been faltering all season. City have been dropping points all season, and like I say, as a Liverpool fan, it frustrates me that we've been praying and praying and praying for the past several years for City to drop points in certain games, and they've not done it. And then on the one season where we're terrible, they're doing it consistently. And my point of it is not to make it a Liverpool point. My point of it is that people are saying that City can go on this 10, 15 game winning run from now to the end of the season and win the title. And yes, they very much can. But Arsenal are doing exactly that at the beginning of the season that they're claiming Manchester City could potentially do. Arsenal just need to maintain it. Arsenal just need to maintain it. They need to play it safe. They don't need to do anything stupid, and they just need to play it safe. That's the real bottom line. Play it safe. Don't do anything stupid, and they could potentially win the league at the end of the campaign. They've definitely got the players. They're on fire right now. They're working together as a well-oiled machine, working very well. And it's exciting times to be an Arsenal fan, and I think a lot of Arsenal fans probably need to come out and apologise to Mikel Arteta and apologise to some of them players as well, and just enjoy it. Just enjoy it, because no one was expecting this. No one was expecting Arsenal to be at the top of the table at this stage of the season. No one was expecting it. I think Arsenal are going to be alright, and I'm starting to believe myself that Arsenal probably could go on and do it. I don't think they should be dropping it from this point, but 5 points, still a bit risky. We have seen 5-point gaps be clawed back in previous years, so be interesting to see what happens going forward. But like I say, I think some of these pundits need to start giving, and some of the fans as well, need to start giving Arsenal more credit. I think Arsenal fans probably need to start believing a little bit more, if they're not already. And I think we should just accept the fact that Arsenal right now are awesome. Simple as that. And I can't wait for the, well, if I'm being neutral, I can't wait for the season to unfold and continue to unfold. From a Liverpool fan's perspective, Jesus Christ, I hate to see where we're going to end up. But yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing if Arsenal can do that. I'm looking forward to seeing if Arsenal can win their first Premier League title in 20 years, and that's going to be very intriguing to find out. But of course, these are just the thoughts, comments, opinions, predictions, feelings, whatever you want to call it, of this guy. I want to know what you guys think. What do you make of Arsenal's season so far and their title challenge? Could they go on to maintain their start to the season and finish it off strong and win their first Premier League title in 20 years? I'd love to know your guys' thoughts, comments, opinions, predictions, feelings, whatever you want to call it, down below in the comment section, because I'm sure it'll make for interesting reading. Otherwise, hit that like button on the way up if you enjoyed the video. Subscribe if you're new, want to see more content like this. Both things always and friendly, greatly appreciated. And as always, thank you all so much for watching and listening. I've been Fletch. This has been another Flex Talks video, and I will see and speak with you all again soon in another video.